And we're back to the #1 UFC picks podcast in the world, No Brainer MMA. How are we liking this Slavic drinking music? We liking this? I'm a fan of it. Jamming out, setting the vibe. We're going to be going over co-main event for UFC 288, Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. But first, if you guys have a gambling problem, please, welcome to the club. We're going to move right into the co-main event. I know Belal Muhammad can't talk that good, but he does talk a big game. And I get it. His fight style is like a Walmart Colby Covington. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, but he really is. He's good wherever the fight goes. Awesome cardio. And he should, because he goes to decision in all of his fights. He's seen the judges' scorecard 16 times out of his 22 pro wins. Doesn't really have striking that jumps out at you, but has consistent high volume striking. He's also been using a lot of kicks in his recent fights too that look pretty good. And he is just constantly looking to close the distance, looking to use that wrestling, take the fight to the ground, or at least hold you up against the fence. But overall, I have to say, he's had a pretty cushy ride to the top. His last 4 fights, he beat a 42-year-old Damian Maia in Maia's retirement fight. Then he went on to wrestle Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Really terribly boring fight. And with all due respect, Thompson was past his prime. He was 38 in that fight too. So he took on 2 old guys. Although I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has a lot left in the tank, just not at the highest level anymore, which is sad to say. Then 2 wins over guys who are borderline top 10, in my opinion. Vicente Luque, Sean Brady. I mean, is that crazy to anyone else? Like, he's ranked top 4 on the UFC roster, ahead of Gilbert Burns, ahead of Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, it just doesn't really make too much sense.
This doesn't make any sense!
Gilbert Burns, on the other hand, has been fed to the fucking wolves. He fought Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title. He did lose that fight, but still. He also fought Wonderboy Thompson, too, but a far less boring fight. And he actually chose to stand with him for a little bit of it. Then he took on the boogeyman, Khamzat Chimaev, who no one would fight at the time. And I stick to this. I still give the slight edge in that fight to Burns. And his last 2 fights have been in 2023 already, against Jorge Masvidal and Neil Magny. Gilbert Burns is a wrecking ball. He has a grappling base, just like Muhammad. Both guys nearly average the same exact takedowns and takedown accuracy. Belal averages 2.19 at 35% accuracy, and Burns averages 2.16 at 37% accuracy. Although Belal flexes a 92% takedown defense and has been taken down 1 time since 2020, it's going back 7 fights. Burns' striking, though, is a lot more powerful, a lot faster hands, a lot more explosive, a lot of big looping punches. But if one connects, it's really going to be lights out for you. And, Belal Muhammad just has a more, not flashy, but consistent. I want to use that word, consistent, in his striking. And I know I'm talking a lot of shit about Belal Muhammad, but it's not that I think he's bad at all. I do think that he is good. His skills are there. I just think that he kind of jumped in front of a lot of people. Or maybe it's the welterweight division. Maybe it's just that bear. And, he's allowed to just fight some scrubs and then get to the top 4. Now for the breakdown, I think Burns jumps out of the gate hot in this one. He needs to make Belal feel out of his element. Belal is used to setting up a rhythm and doing his little decision dance. Burns needs to go out there and brawl, and I think Belal is going to be a fish out of water if that happens. So I see Burns being the guy who sets the pace, lands the bigger shots. The one thing that Belal does have going for him is that cardio. He is a cardio king. And this is only a 3-round fight, so I'm not overly worried about it. And also, we're not in the Apex anymore. We're in full cage side. So I think Belal's going to have a little more trouble wrestling. Burns will be able to keep it on the feet, and that's where he'll do some damage. So I'm going to be going with Gilbert Burns in this one.